This is August 26th. We're headed into the last week of August, and President Biden has accomplished a lot, but he's got many challenges. I mean, one of the challenges is that he's now sought to, through executive order, relieved student loans, especially for Pell Grant recipients, low-income recipients. Right. And yet there's a lot of pushback, not only from Republicans, but also moderate Democrats who say, wait a minute, this is going to be inflationary. It's also going to encourage people to default on their loans. And they feel that people who have already paid off their loan will be resentful.
You said President Biden has accomplished a lot. But if I ask a Republican, they'll say what he has accomplished. Can you tell me what he has accomplished this week?
Well, in fact, many Republicans are bitterly opposed to what he has been doing. And so there's this real potential conflict going on right now in Washington. Furthermore, as we head into the midterm elections, Democrats in Congress are getting anxious. For instance, there are over 60 judicial seats that are open. They feel that there's still a possibility that Republicans can take the Senate. And they feel if that happens, that President Biden will not be able to put one more judicial nominee on the bench.
Let me ask you, when I go out of this building and drive and go to the gas station, the price has come down. Naturally, it has come down. But people are still worried about inflation. What does this administration has done on curbing or bringing the price down?
Well, Jerome Powell, the Federal Reserve Chairman, today even said that he is going to use any tool he has to bring down inflation. But this is going to scare many Democrats. Many Democrats remember the medicine that Paul Volcker applied on the economy when he raised interest rates to 21%, slowed down the economy, and by most accounts got rid of inflation, but at the cost, many people say, of a presidency. That Jimmy Carter was not reelected because people were very dissatisfied with the high interest rates. So there is this conundrum right now as to what to do. A president really can't do much. The Fed's main tool is to raise interest rates.
But come on, he's the president, right? He's the most powerful person, not only in this country, probably in the world as well. Why can't he do anything? Where are his hand tied up?
Welcome to a democracy. Democracy is about a broken system where nobody gets a perfect solution to a problem. And as a result, president, he can only do so much. He has a bully pulpit, he can speak, but what other things can he do? I mean, one criticism that many people have launched on him is said, look, your relief plans spurred inflation. It drove monies into the economy. It made cost of goods go up because it's simple supply and demand. And so the president can pull back on relief. And if, in fact, many people would say, in fact, Larry Summers said this, that the relief of debt relief for student loans is inflationary. And that's a problem for President Biden headed into the midterms.
Look, all these doles to the common citizen are helpful as a help people fight the COVID-19 started during the Trump era when they started giving money to the people, giving money to the pockets, right? But this is having an impact on the economy as well. But let me ask you, this is the question I wanted to ask President Biden when he was announcing the concessions or the waiving of the students' loan, the Roosevelt Room this week when I was doing the foreign poll duty. Is the U.S. moving towards from a capitalist to a socialist economy?
This is the big question right now. And it's a great question to ask. There's so many questions we wish that we could get in and we never do. Thing is that in general, Democrats want to push more toward some socialist solutions. We think of Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, so many issues. In general, Republicans, more often than not, want to see a market solution to problems. And the Republicans will argue truthfully that this economy, the American economy, has enriched more people than any other country ever in the world through capitalism. And so there's this play back and forth. Should it be a capitalist solution? Should it be a social solution? Back and forth. And it's going to be this tug of war from now for until eternity, maybe.
So tell me, today is Friday, right?
Yeah.
It's around 4:25.
Yeah.
I think President is traveling to his hometown,
Yes.
Delaware.
Yeah.
What is he going to do over the weekend? And what do you think? When we started talking, it was hot. We were sweating. Now we see a cold breeze
Thank goodness.
coming up. So what is in store for next week and the next month?
Well, here the question really is, how will the president's messaging, which he did this week in Maryland, where he really pushed and campaigning against the hard right Republicans, whether that's going to have an impact, or whether his debt relief for student loans is going to have an impact. And here's the weird thing about being president. You never know when the next crisis is going to occur. And so it's almost impossible to predict what's going to happen. I mean, we almost had, it appears it could have happened, a disaster with a nuclear power plant in Ukraine this week. The electricity had been cut off for cooling for a little bit. They had to bring in emergency generators, and they got those to pump the water through again for the power plants. Just that could head the world into a tailspin for energy, for grain, for prices of oil, gas, everything. And so we're always walking a tightrope when you're walking with geopolitical issues.
So we are trying to do something unique. Every week on Friday, we'll do this talk show
Right.
for our people. But this is going to be my last question every week. What on the scale of 1 to 10, how much score do you give to the president this week?
This was a good week for him. This was a very good week for him. I mean, I would say that it was probably an 8. I mean, in terms of just his momentum, he is still suffering from the disastrous withdrawal of American troops from Afghanistan a year ago. And Republicans have pledged that if they take over the House, which is likely, that they will have hearings investigating the faults and what messed up in the Afghani withdrawal.
Thank you with this.
Yeah.
We'll say goodbye to you for
Okay.
have a nice weekend.
Yeah.
And let us know through the various social media channels what should we do track on for next week in the White House. We are your watchdog. Thank you.
Wonderful. It was a pleasure.